Hey guys, this is Rachel and Krista, co founders of Bolder Business Solutions and the Becoming Bolder program, and this is In Full Volume. Each week, we have real, honest conversations about navigating change, redefining what success actually looks like, and building a life that really feels good to live, not just something that looks good on paper. So, let's turn down those expectations, turn up what actually matters, and get into today's conversation. So, with that, Krista, what are we talking about today?
Are we talking about today? This is podcast number one. This is it. It's official. And I think because of that, what makes the most sense is, I don't know, maybe we should explain a little bit about who we are and where we came from and why we are so excited to share all of the things that you and I have been working on for quite a while. I think that's a really good conversation, a really good jumping off point. So I want to hear your side first.
Okay. Well, let's talk about how you and I came up with Boulder Business Solutions.
Ooh, okay.
So a long time ago, in a land far away, you and I were sitting in a room having conversations with each other about how you and I really wanted to build something where we worked with businesses and really wanted to help them redefine what that success looks like, maybe challenge some of the stereotypical or those uh, traditional ideas of how business actually runs.
Mhm.
And you and I started talking and then realized, wait a minute, we're kind of saying the same thing. And then that was the beginning of a beautiful partnership. And then after that, you and I really came together and were like, okay, we're going to build this program. What do we want to call it? And we threw around all of these really dumb names. I mean,
Oh,
I'm pretty sure we came up with, I think 20 or 30 of them and had the
yeah.
acronyms. We did the stress test. None of them passed. But then we came up with Bolder Business Solutions because at its core, what we really want to do is we want to challenge people to become bolder. And that's really what we did. So, is there anything that you would like to add to that?
Oh,
What
yeah.
was
I
your
feel like there's some
experience?
important elements of this that got left out. So
Well, you're telling me that I left things out?
I'm just, you tend to bullet points, sister.
I know I do. I really
this
do. That's
this
that's my
was this
strong
is
suit.
what made it so fun. So number one,
Okay.
the first thing I think anybody that makes the decision to listen to anything that comes out of our mouths needs to know this is that Rachel is a dyed in the wool left brainer, and I am a dyed in the wool right brainer. And we know this for a fact because I'm the co-founder of a personality assessment called Ideal Personality, which we'll dive into in future conversations. Trust me, uh, and it helps you identify your brain lead. And what was so fun for us is the fact that we would have all of these conversations, and the thing that I thought was so fun for you and I is most people, I spent most of my career, and I know you have an element of this too, with your history of being I I was coming in and I was having to mitigate, really stressful conversations inside of organizations. I had a left brainer here and a right brainer here, and it was like, you're saying the same thing, and why can you not have this conversation? And the fact that you and I absolutely from day one connected and were able to understand each other, one, super trippy and super fun. Um, uh, but I remember like it was yesterday. You and I were like both in sweats,
I'm
hanging
pretty
out.
sure I don't think
Yeah.
I didn't wash my hair for a couple days. I'm
I,
pretty sure it was up in a messy bun.
we
That's
had another
how
thing
it
that
is.
we had to go run and do, and we're like, hey, let's go just sit and do this thing. And I had brought up to you, this was, yeah, I had brought up to you, hey, with the business you're building and the business I'm building, wouldn't it be cool if someday we decided to like maybe do like a mastermind together?
Oh, this is where I totally didn't understand what you said. That's right.
And
Yes.
so I have so here's the thing. I thought it was so funny because I mentioned it to you and you were like, yeah, I'll think about it, which I expected. And then you and I spoke like a couple of days later. You had a fleshed out business plan for us because you thought that I said master course, like developing this company and you and I working, and you were sharing all of this, and I'm like, when do I let her know the difference between a master class and a mastermind? And when I did, you immediately were like, oh my gosh. I'm like, oh no, I'm in. I'm in. I want to make sure you understand the difference. And you guys, that was, I mean, the rest has been history for us.
I want to say in my defense that every wonderful achievement, every discovery that's happened generally comes from some kind of accident or some kind of screw
Mhm.
up. So, um I just want to say that's what happened. It was because of my dumbass mistake.
It was a brilliant dumbass mistake, though. It was absolutely wonderful, and I'm super grateful for it because it led us down this incredibly fun path. And I mean, you mentioned it just a little bit ago. Is we kind of we've kind of stumbled our way into navigating what it is that both of us like really truly in our hearts wanted to do. We have such diverse backgrounds.
Yeah.
So for me, I've been in the coaching arena for 16 years. I stepped out of it, during, 2020 happened, and my area of expertise of mental energy management, everything felt above my pay grade during that time. And me wanting to get back into this and restart and re-engage, and you coming from share your background. I love your background. I just think it's so amazing that somebody who wants to step up and show up the way that you want to came from where you came from.
So, well, my background, originally I came from healthcare. I used to work in the mental health sector, in inpatient psychiatric facilities, actually. So I gained a lot of my skills and my, um, I don't want to call them people skills, but my people skills from working in inpatient psych. And it was really an incredible experience. I am so grateful for the opportunity that I had to really spend as much time as I did working with people that I absolutely just I adored and cared for so deeply. Um, but just like Krista had said, the pandemic hit, and I don't know if anybody remembers this, but the world kind of shut down, and everyone who worked in hospitals became essential workers, and everyone in hospitals started to kind of experience this thing called burnout, and I fell victim to that. So, what ended up happening was I got this really awesome opportunity to then switch gears entirely, give myself a little bit of a break, and I ended up working for the state government in business. And it was not even close to anything that I had in my background. Um, but I started realizing that, wait a minute, there's this whole other side to me, this analytical side, this financial and strategic part that I really enjoyed, that I didn't really get a whole lot of chance to develop that part, and I was so excited that I really got to do that. Um, but that I felt like at some point I really missed that old version, that old version of me that just kind of was knocking on the door a little bit. Um, and so I really wanted to see if there was a way that I could blend the two of them. Of could I business or could I blend business and mental health? So eventually, I ended up becoming part of an executive leadership team in a mental health clinic, and that led me straight to Krista. So that's really where my story ended up. Was, you know, essentially I got here so that I could meet Krista and develop this Boulder framework, which I think is probably one of the coolest things that we've ever done.
It
I not
is.
to toot my own horn, but or our horn, but man, it's really cool.
Wow, if I remember, it was like I was like elbows deep in like some in a Bible study that I just do every morning. It's just something I do in my morning routine, and the theme of bold kept coming up for me. And
Yeah.
so after the I don't even know how many awful ideas that we came up with. Okay, I'm just going to say it out loud. Okay, AI came up with a lot of that garbage.
Yeah.
We did.
We
We did. We were like, we didn't, we needed some help. And yeah, that
we
was
looked
not
for
the
help
best,
in all the wrong
all the
places.
wrong
Not
places.
not that that it was helpful in a way to realize what we didn't want. I guess I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
It helped us realize what we didn't want. And I remember this because I was sitting on the couch and all of a sudden you called me and I said, "Hey," and you're like, "Oh my gosh, are you sitting down?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sitting down. I Is this bad? I'm so scared." And you're like, "I got it. I got the name. It's Boulder Business Solutions." And then of course, I have to run it through the stress test. So I'm like, BBS. All right, that doesn't spell any weird words. I think we're okay. I like it. So,
Oh my gosh, that's
yeah.
right. I thought it was you. I thought you came up with that.
No.
No, you're right.
Uh-uh. You did. You had this stroke of brilliance, and it was amazing just to get that phone call and go, "Oh my gosh, that's it. That's what our business name is. That's what we're developing." And then we started having these conversations about, okay, so what does that mean? We have the name, we
Yeah.
know what we're called, but what does that actually mean? What are we doing? And as we kept having those conversations about, how do we want to show up for people? How do we want to show up for businesses? What are the things that we really want to build? Then we built what we call the Boulder framework. And so Boulder, we broke it down into build, organize, lead, design. I have to spell Boulder in my head as I'm doing this.
Same.
Energy and results. So, I mean, it really took a life of its own. I mean, it's something that we look back, and after we developed this framework, it was almost like this moment of awe and reverence as we're like, wow, this is powerful. This is something that even transcends us.
Yeah, and then it took a wicked twist.
Then it did, as all fun
Just,
business
it just did.
plans do.
And if there are any business owners, entrepreneurs that are watching this, seriously, we want to hear your crazy story. Tell us, we want to hear your story below because we know it's not just us. We know that every single business owner goes through this just bizarre, clunky phase of making, square peg round hole, and ours was really interesting, and we actually kind of figured it out when we started doing our research interviews. We started reaching out and
Yeah.
connecting with potential business referral partners. We started reaching out to who we thought you kind of matched what we believed was our ideal client profile at the time, and we got a really hard lesson. Thankfully, early on, before we started working with clients. You know,
Well, yeah, and I think the big thing about that is it it just brings to mind this idea of pivoting, which I'm pretty sure all entrepreneurs are painfully aware or have experienced at some point, with this idea of just, okay, guess we're pivoting. This is what we're doing now. And I think the biggest lesson that we learned from this was after these research calls, we kind of got slapped in the face with this realization that this Boulder framework, we had originally designed it to focus on, okay, how can we help the business? How can we develop the strategy and the culture and this leadership for the business? And then we had this realization, the Boulder framework doesn't start with the business, it starts with the individual.
yeah.
And boy, was that kind of a giant punch in the gut when
There may or may not have been some tears. Um,
oh, I cry at everything, so there
oh my
were
gosh.
definitely
I mean,
some tears.
but okay, but here's the cool thing. Out of all of the blood, sweat, and tears up until this point, like right now in this moment, the thing that I love more than anything is the fact that both you and I, this entire time, months, have reached the same conclusion at the same time. And one of us will say, I'm just going to say it. Don't hate me. I don't want to, I don't think this is our ideal client, or I don't like the way this feels, or probably a half a dozen times in what feels like forever. But when we did the math, it's like, oh, really? We're good. It's not like we've been doing this for years trying to figure it out. It just sometimes feels like it.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I have aged about a decade,
Yeah.
really, in this time. In a good way. In a good way. I've become pretty wisdomous. For any
Yes.
lovers out there, I'm pretty wisdomous.
Yes, you
So,
are.
um, that's where I feel like this experience has really caused us to really learn a lot of really good lessons, a lot of sometimes painful lessons. Um, I think the biggest lesson that we have learned so far is also one of the most powerful lessons was having this Boulder framework start that this work starts within the individual,
Yeah.
which means we have to work through the framework ourselves. And that I think was probably one of the most transformational things that you and I have ever done. Is
Yeah.
just identifying the changes that we need to make. And that's where our latest program, Becoming Bolder, that's where it came to be, where we have taken the Boulder framework that was originally built for a business and now
Mhm.
it's built for the individual.
Yeah.
And
It's an internal job.
it is. And the great part about it is Becoming Bolder is for anyone. This is for anyone who is experiencing change, who is at this period of transition in their life. And there are decisions that need to be made, and there are conversations to be had, painful realizations that keep popping up. And this could be for any kind of transition. We realized this was for, maybe it's for the business owner who is looking for the next stage of growth. It could be for the person who just recently is going through a divorce and is now trying to navigate life after divorce.
Mhm. Or
Maybe
empty
it's
nesters.
Yes, maybe for empty nesters, or maybe for new parents who are
Yeah.
experiencing this new phase of life. It could even be for somebody who just quit their job because they were navigating such a horrible toxic
Yeah.
environment, or one that really is close and for my and deep to my heart is, those that just got the diagnosis, whatever it might be, but now their entire life is different. The way that they see how they live their life it changes drastically. And
Yeah.
that's what Becoming Bolder is. It's a framework to help navigate those kinds of decisions and those challenges, and not feel so alone or feel like you're flying blind, which I think so many of us just kind of inherently feel that way whenever we come to a crossroads, or whenever those really difficult times come up. Those challenging times always feel so isolating. And we know logically, like,
Yeah,
I
we
know I'm
know
not the only
better.
person. Yeah, we know better. I'm not the only person
We
that has
know
experienced
better,
this in life,
but
but
yeah.
I always feel so alone. And that's one of the things that we really wanted to create this program, to create that sense of community, to that sense of belonging, and to have conversations with people that you know make them feel seen and heard and validated in those experiences.
Yeah.
And then also how to navigate that. These are changes that happen in life, and a lot of this comes with this great unknown of what the future is going to look like. And we have built in this framework, these strategies and these ways of thinking to really help navigate those periods of uncertainty.
Well, and something that just really hit home just throughout all the conversations you and I have been having, not only about what we've been building, but just us and life and all of the things is that there's something about high achievers, just incredibly driven individuals, men, women, those of us that are high achievers. We really have a tendency to not ask for help. We think that we can just push through, or we'll get through it, or maybe if I work harder, if I, in any area of life, personally, professionally, a combination of both. And what ends up happening is you're going to end up burning out. You're going to end up basically just kind of beating yourself up and wondering, why can't I do all of this? We were not designed to do life alone. We weren't. We were designed specifically, regardless of your faith or lack of faith or whatever, we were designed to live in community.
Yes. Yeah.
And when you and I made the decision, we had the conversation of, oh, we need to dive into this framework for us and use it as a filter for us individually.
Hmm.
And what I thought my favorite part of it, as we started diving into it, was the fact that I've always done personal development on my own.
Hmm.
Why?
Yeah.
Because that's just what I've done. And I was a coach. Well, why would I? Not that I didn't work with a coach, but I've worked with other coaches from a business perspective. I haven't worked with one like other than I have a therapist who I absolutely swear by, and she's amazing. But this is different.
Yeah.
It's very, very
Yeah.
different. And being able to, for those of us that are used to being in charge, that we're the business owner, that we are, the one that's got all the plates spinning, the one that keeps everything going, we have become so good at figuring it out on our own that sometimes we just don't even think about reaching out and finding a community of others like us who are high achievers. They have a lot on their plate. They have big goals. They have big dreams. And yeah, they're achieving them, and that's wonderful. But what's the cost?
Yeah. Well, and I think you said something that made me think about just the term personal development.
Hmm.
Personal development assumes that it is an individual process just by
Yeah.
nature of the term. Personal.
Yeah.
It is a personal experience that you have. And yes, that's true. And the thing with personal development is it's everything that you learn in personal development, it's going to work until it doesn't.
Yeah.
So what happens when it doesn't? Okay, that's what that community is for. Is
Oh yeah.
now you take this idea of personal development, the things that you've learned, the experiences that you've had, and now you are building and shaping this within a community of other like-minded individuals who have also done their personal development. And
Hmm.
now everyone's coming together, and oh, what a transformative experience that
Yeah.
is. It's unbelievable just the how different and how powerful it really is to take what personal development is, but build that within a community space. Oh, it's amazing.
Oh yeah. I mean, keep listening to your podcast, please. That includes ours. Listen to your
Yeah.
podcast. Keep, doing that element of personal development. Read the books. Listen to the podcast. Take the courses. Do whatever that is, and find a community, whether it's ours or somebody else's. Find a place to plug in so that you know that you're not shouldering everything on your own, because it's just, we have conversations every single day with people in leadership roles, at home, at work, in the community. And that's kind of where they tend to get stuck, is because they're so reliable. People keep giving them more stuff to do.
Right? It's that idea of, you end up working so hard to, show that you are an extremely capable person.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden that means you're responsible for everything. So you've kind of created your own demise in a way, which is very counterintuitive with kind of the way that we operate as human beings. So,
But it happens
um,
all the time.
oh, absolutely. So, one of the things that I really wanted for us to share today is
Mhm.
what our experience was with the Becoming Bolder program, and how we came to, or what are some of the realizations or things that you learned about yourself that you really want to share with listeners?
Oh yeah, just to go ahead and frame it, because I know Rachel, you shared the Boulder framework from that business perspective, and so we tweaked it
Yeah.
slightly for the
Hmm.
individual, and it is build. I'm going to be saying it in my head, so sing along with me. BOLDER, um, is build, organize, lead, design, embody, and reflect.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think for me, um, as you and I started walking through this framework, um, oh wow, so many things. I think if I could just share, if I only shared one thing about it that I loved the most is the fact that it's such a fluid system because it's not a checklist. And I know for those of you that are, the left brainers, in the room, you want that checklist. You want to know things got done. Not that us right brainers don't, but we have a tendency to be a little bit more flexible and a little more fluid. I appreciate the fact that it's both.
I was going to say, we do have some checklists.
We do have checklists. I made many of them. Okay, some of those are mine. Living with ADHD, the girl needs some checklists here. Okay, but it's I absolutely loved the way that we have framed this in it appeals to both people who are all about the logistics and those that are more about the emotional and being able to be a lot more flexible and kind of in the moment kind of people. um we brought together some pretty amazing tools, tools that I've used in all my years of coaching, tools that you've utilized in
Yeah.
a lot of different spaces that you've been in as well. I've never seen anybody build systems like you. It's mind-boggling. It's like godlike power level with systems, and it's beautiful. And understanding and realizing that we can create systems in our own life, which most people call habits or routines or what. That's great, but okay, let's just get real. They're systems.
Mhm.
They're
Yeah.
systems. So I don't care what word you want to use. And so for me, I think that was the biggest thing. I absolutely love the fact that I I got to move through it in a way that's very aligned with my wiring, and I still had that anchor of the checkpoints.
Yeah.
And so it still kept me on track. I
Hmm.
think so far, I think that's been my favorite thing, my number one favorite thing. What about
Oh, I
you?
love that.
We haven't even had this
Um,
conversation yet. I'm excited to hear what you say.
yeah. I think my answer is actually very similar to yours. Um, just the other side of it, where it feels this this program. I live and die by my to-do lists, and I have to-do lists everywhere
Right.
in my life. My husband hates them, and but he loves me, so he also has to-do lists. And what I love about this framework is I still get to have my to-do lists. I still get to have my checklists. I still get to have that sense of accomplishment because what it does is it has created those systems in my life, but those systems don't run my life. I am not
Yes.
bound. I'm not bound by the checklist. I'm not bound by this idea of perfection. And I am going to back this up with a story that is extremely personal and it's very vulnerable, but I'm going to share. So, once upon a time in my life, I was studying to become a therapist myself. And this was right before COVID. And what happened was I experienced a life altering diagnosis that I received weeks before I was supposed to go back to school to finish up my practicum as a therapist. That was an extremely, like I said, it was a life altering event for me.
Yeah.
What it did is it changed my perspective on everything, personal, professional, how I ran my life. What are the things that I am allowed to do anymore? Where can I go? What can I do? How long do I have? Think those kinds of questions. And, there were also other painful medical experiences that came with that. Um, and because of all of that, I felt like I lost control of everything. Now, I am a person who, I am a self proclaimed high achiever. My life has been a checklist. My life has been a series of finishing tasks, completing,
Yep.
seeing things through to completion, pushing through. And this was one area of my life where I couldn't. I couldn't run away from what happened to me. And because of that, I actually needed to step out of my program and reevaluate my life. And that whole experience was deeply painful. There was so much guilt and shame that came with that because I'm that person. I finish everything. Come hell or high water, I will finish what I started. I will show up to that event. I will do that. Even if I am, my leg's broken, will limp over that finish line. And I couldn't. And that changed everything about my perspective. I felt like I was spiraling now into this world of being out of control into this area of unknown because I have no idea what my future looks like now. For the first time in my life, I had no idea what I was going to be when I grew up. And that to me was so hard that version of me I put in a little box so that she could be protected and that she could be okay. And then we went through the Becoming Bolder program. What Becoming Bolder did was it made me open that box. Not in a bad way though, because what it helped me reintroduce that version of me who really, had some scars, had some wounds. And she got to get reintroduced into this idea of what life could look like. I get to have my checklists. I still get to do all of the things that I want to do. I'm still a high achiever. I still am going to cross the finish line. But anymore, that's not, this framework almost set me free. It's given me the opportunity to see things in a completely new light. So that is probably the biggest lesson and the biggest takeaway for this program that I've had personally.
Mm. Now I have to tell my story.
It's fun. You should share. The truth sets you free.
No, and forgive me for not understanding the question that you asked previously. I'm thinking about, oh my gosh, what's so great about this program? But you're right. We did.
No, you answered it beautifully.
We thank you. We put ourselves through the well, not through the motions, but we wanted to dive into it. We wanted to know what it would be like to experience this because it Becoming Bolder is this. It started out as this amalgamation of all of the things that we had both been doing, and then we brought it together and refined it and polished it and made it something that could be universally shared. And I think for me, I know for me, the biggest shift that it caused in me, which I'm trying to stop getting emotional because it's not a party until one of us cries. Just
that's fair.
Hang out with those people. It's just what we do. Is I spent the bulk of my 20s, and I'm 59. I spent the bulk of my 20s in survival mode due to being in a very violent marriage, very scary, like landed me in the hospital, scary. And for me, my survival mode became, well, your brain lead became this sequence of this. I had to control something. I couldn't control what was going on around me, and so I needed to find things to control. And I did. I dove head first without realizing it. I mean, hindsight's 2020. I became the list maker, and all checkbox that I had to find something that I felt I had a say in. And I I was able to finally get out of that marriage safely. Um, Shockingly, I was 30. Yeah, I was 30. And then fast forward, and I had gotten so good at being this single mom, that or my perception, my kids might argue, but I had to become both mom and dad. And so I really stepped into, I went from, being down here in that sequencer up into director, because I had to be in charge. I had to be in charge. I had to do everything. I had to do everything. And I brought that with me into my marriage. My husband and I have been together for, it'll be 21 years in October. And my husband was raised in a family with a very strong Hispanic matriarch. Love my mother-in-law. Love her. She was a dear friend of mine before she became my mother-in-law. And um and so I totally got what my husband saw in me. But I mean, this is still very recently for me, really going through this program and diving into and answering questions that, I will be honest, even though we came up with them, I didn't want to answer some of them.
I
I
know.
didn't,
I
and
know.
we had nobody to blame. It was our fault. But they're really good questions.
I know. I'm
And
so glad we answered them.
I am. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Um, and being able to dive into them in a way and really just, I mean, kind of tear into it. And I think that's part of what makes this program really stand out, is because we really are two sides of the same coin.
Mhm.
And logic and intuition, and me finally being able to let go of the high achiever. Not that I'm not a high achiever. I am totally a high achiever, okay? I got to
Yeah.
let go of the person that had to be in charge. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one here that's going, oh, that's me. I got to let go of having to be that person. And now it's clunky. It's clunky as hell, and parts of it aren't fun. But you know what? I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I have a really awesome coach that helps me, as I help her navigate it, and we will, help you navigate it. Is being able to really kind of, re-embrace, as I rediscover, and being able to embody who I am and how I'm really wired, and the things that really do light me up, and the things that really do bring me joy. And yeah, it's been really awkward and uncomfortable, but you know what? It's the best thing. It is the absolute best thing I've ever done. And I participated in so many coaching programs, and this one
Yeah.
is just this one is this one. Oh, I can't even find the words. How often do I ever not have words? Never.
Not very often.
It
This
really
one,
is.
it's transformational.
It's very transformational.
Yeah.
It's kind of a hold your hands, kick your ass kind of a program. And I think most of us, those of us that are, I mean, we're driven and we have goals, and we kind of need that. We need somebody to hold our
Yeah.
hand and, kind of kick us in the ass sometimes, and call us on our crap, and be
Yeah.
willing to be really real. I think that there are so many. I've had experiences in the past with people that I've teamed with, not in a professional sense like you and I, but people that I've entrusted to help me shift in my life. And
Yeah.
it's I need somebody who's going to kick me in the butt. I need somebody who's going to challenge me. And I'm noticing
Yeah.
a trend where people aren't challenging each other anymore, and that's really kind of sad.
Well, and I think that's probably why that's one of the core elements of this
Mhm.
community and this program is it very much is challenging. in the best way possible, because that's true growth only comes when you are uncomfortable, when you are challenged,
Mhm.
and when you feel those growing pains. That's really when you get to see what it's like on the other side. And that's truly what becoming bolder means.
Oh, yes, exactly. Chef's kiss. We could talk about this forever. However, we're going to go ahead
Yes.
and cut this short. We're going to go ahead and cut this off for this time anyway. Those of you that have been listening, thank you so much for joining us. We really do love and appreciate you taking part, taking us along to the gym or, on the commute to work or whenever and wherever it is that you're listening to us. If our conversation gave you something to think about, if it sparked something in your brain, man, share it below. We would love to hear about it. We would love to have you drop that in the comments. And if you are navigating some change, if you've got some big stuff going on and maybe you need somebody to hold your hand and kick your pants. By all means, if you want to connect with us, please do. You can email us at info@buildingboulder.com. And please, if you are enjoying this, go ahead and subscribe for more honest conversations about becoming bolder and about building a life that feels, like it's your own. So until next time, from Rachel and myself, keep showing up in full volume. Bye, guys.
Bye.